Hey, my name is Barbie Armenta. I'm a wife, mother, life coach, and founder of Brave One. Everyone has a story, and I believe that you can be inspired in your own life by hearing another woman's courageous story. We're here to talk about purpose, identity, divorce, blending families. If you're talking about it, I want to talk about it. We are here to have brave conversations. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited about today's guest. I had the pleasure of meeting her in 2020. My husband and I had just moved to Fort Worth and just east of downtown, and we were trying to explore the area. But about the same time, this coffee house, Black Coffee, kept showing up on my Instagram feed. It turns out that was the year that Mia Moss and Black Coffee won the Best of Fort Worth for their coffee house. Mia was gracious enough to share her incredible story at the virtual Brave Gathering that year. And I'm beyond excited to have her on the podcast today. I know you're going to love her as much as I do. Mia, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here.
This is exciting.
I wanted you to start kind of from the beginning. Tell them a little bit about, where'd you grow up? What was your family like? And
Sure. Yeah. So I was born in Wichita Falls, Texas, but raised in Fort Worth majority of my life. And raised on the east side, actually. My parents my mother, she was born on the south side of Fort Worth. And so we were kind of southeast in the Rolling Hills area. That's where we grew up. And I went to all Fort Worth ISD schools. I went to Daggett Montessori, actually, and loved it. And then I graduated from Southwest High School and went to UTA. Probably my first year of college. Yeah, that's when I started working at Seattle's Best Coffee, which everyone knows is Starbucks now because they bought them out. And this was, so long ago, 2002. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was in the airport. So I got to meet a lot of people. I worked with a diverse group, loved them. I learned a lot about the Egyptian culture. I became best friends with a few guys that were from Egypt, and they would take us to restaurants, and we just had a lot of fun. So I really love that, one, it was in the airport because you get to meet a lot of people. Two, it brought me out of my shell. I just felt comfortable speaking with people basically over coffee. And I just loved it. And my mom was just so supportive. She would actually go and drink coffee with me all the time, even though she wasn't a big coffee drinker, but she became one after I kind of forced it on her.
Coffee breaks down barriers, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm kind of a nerd. I just always want to look at, the history of things. And so I was interested in the fact that, after the Boston Tea Party, the U.S. became coffee capital. And that was just so interesting to me. So I kind of would do research on my own about different coffees and, realize that, in this side of the world, coffee from Brazil and Colombia is just really big. So we love our chocolate. So we love coffee that has that rich chocolate flavor. And so that's why I noticed that most coffee shops and coffee even from the store would have South American beans. And then I didn't really go into coffee, but I worked there for a while. But I majored in dance, which is crazy.
Really? I did not know that about you.
I majored in dance and did not dance. I actually ended up in an alternative school, working at an alternative school, and I loved it. I loved connecting with the kids and hearing their stories. And again, I would drink coffee. I would bring my coworkers coffee all the time. And I met my husband when I was in high school, and we dated very young. But I would drag him around with me to coffee shops. When we traveled, we would make it a point to go to coffee shops. It just became a thing, and I was kind of stuck with that. But of course, Starbucks really blew up. They're all over the place. So we found ourselves going to Starbucks a lot. And then I just kind of stepped back and was like, I want to get into the smaller coffee shops. So I started exploring Fort Worth and local coffee. One of the pioneers was Avoca Coffee Shop. They were like early specialty coffee. And so I really connected with Avoca. And then I found Roots Coffee, which, is in North Richland Hills area, their first shop. And I would go there. I would talk to the baristas. My husband, very social, so he had to know everyone's name. He would ask all the questions. That helped me out a little bit because I'm a bit of an introvert. But again, with coffee, I was able to talk a little bit more. So I just fell in love with it. The only problem I had was we would have to get on the highway to go to a local coffee shop, and I didn't like that. And one day I was just talking to one of my friends, and I was just like, hey, we need a coffee shop on this side of town. And he was like, okay, open one. I was like, okay. And I kind of just ran with that. So
I want to hear a little bit. I love that story, first of all. And it's funny because I can remember my sons were very into coffee. And I remember when they found Avoca and Roots. And,
oh, yeah.
But we were always going to have coffee. And my husband was always like, why so much coffee? And I said, because we get to have conversation. Mm-hmm. There's no phones. Yeah. They want to go and sit and have a conversation over a cup of coffee. I'm going for coffee, mm-hmm. So that was my first kind of experience of realizing how it breaks down those walls to sit and have a conversation over a cup of coffee.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy. And like you're saying, with your kids, I have a 6-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they will go to shops with us. And it's just a great time to bond with them. Because again, they're not on their phones. We're kind of just sitting. It's a calm environment, and they're willing to talk.
Yep.
And give us attention that we wouldn't normally get. So, even with your family, it's just a great experience. Even if you have it at home, you notice like it's just a time of reflection and like peace and calm. I don't know. It just feels great.
I love it. Well, tell me a little bit about your heart for the East Side, because I know it was very specific for you that's where you wanted your shop to be located.
Yes, definitely. I was born on that side of town. Actually, where my shop is, I grew up like 5 blocks away. So I know the area very well. I remember my mom, there was a convenience store. When we went out of town, we would like go on drives, long drives. We would stop there to, get our snacks and everything. And the store's still there. And where we're actually located, it used to be a diner called Polly Grill. So a lot of people recognize the building. And it was just important to give that to the community. The community is very underserved. Most of the time, people will get an education, move out, and go to nicer neighborhoods, nicer cities. Mansfield has a lot of Fort Worth people. They get a lot of us because, it's, already built. Like, everything's there. And so my husband, Frank Moss, he really lit the fire in me to invest in the community because him and all of his friends from elementary, middle school, high school, they went to college together. They all came back and they started a nonprofit called Community Frontline to assist people in that area with whatever they needed. And they made it a point, they're all entrepreneurs, they made it a point to place their businesses in the area also. And right before they did that, I was able to find that building. I just started looking for different buildings. And one of our friends, he was like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to a guy, Mr. Howard, who is from the East Side. He owns a lot of properties, and he was just like, I'll show you some places. And he was like, well, I have a building. It's not on the market, but I can show it to you. And when we drove up, I'm like, I know this building. I know this place. And it kind of just fell in our lap. He was like, I would be more than happy for you to purchase it if this is what you would like. And so I have friends that have invested in that property just so we could have that on the East Side. And I look at it as a kind of a staple for people in the community to see that whatever they want to do, they can do it right where they are. You don't have to go out of the community. The community needs all the things. So if you desire to do nails, like You can have a nail shop right here. You have so many people that will come to you because they don't have to drive across town. And so I made it a point to let the community know, like, hey, come here, meet people here, talk here. We need school supplies for the elementary schools down the street. Let's start a drive here. Oh, we need coats and things for the homeless. Let's start a drive here. And so I've opened the doors to whatever the community needs.
That's so good. It's such a perfect spot and perfect building. I cannot believe that is what a blessing to get
very much
that
so.
location.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm curious, what role, if any, does faith play?
I'm a believer. I don't even think believer is the right word. You know how like there's just something like you can't figure out the words. I'm a believer, but it's just God has always taken care of me. And that was something that my mom, always reminded me that, she was a single mom, but she was amazing because she worked super hard, but she was always at every event that I had. She was present. And that might have meant that we went without a few things, but I had no idea that I was going without things because I was well taken care of. But she would always remind me of, we're able to do these things because God takes care of us. Mm-hmm. God makes sure we have whatever we need. And that's always stuck with me. And it's been true. Like I have had so many different connections and it's all been, God led. I'm an introvert. So in my nature, I close off to people. But God has always had people reach out to me, grab my hand, and help me get to where I need to go. With my friends saying, like, you open a coffee shop. That was never my dream. My dream was to, just help other people, assist other people in what they want to do. I always saw myself as a helper. So I was like, yeah, I have friends that had businesses. What do you need me to do? I'll help you. But God was like, yeah, here you go. Like, you're going to do this, and this is going to help people.
That's what I was hearing. I was like, now he just enabled you to help people
like,
on
I'm
a larger
give you
scale.
A bigger space to do what you want to do. And so, faith is everything to me. I don't do anything without God, just in general. I'm very particular in the things that I do. I take my time God always leads me to do anything. And so my faith, it goes without saying, people know that black coffee is because God said so.
Oh, I love that. I love it. So tell me a little bit about your journey to opening, because it was easy, right? You just decided and then you opened?
No, absolutely not. No, because we got that building about August 2018. And it took all that time to get it open. Dealing with contractors, It's amazing. It's wonderful, wonderful experience. I recommend it to everyone. But it was, I had tunnel vision, so it was going to happen. But there was a lot of learning along the way of what to do, what not to do. Lots of ugly emails. But I will say I didn't have any help from the city. And so that's something that I'm passionate about is helping small businesses or people that are entrepreneurs work through that process. And I've been fortunate enough to connect with other entrepreneurs on that because it's hard. You have no idea. You go to the city website and you're going to just be staring at the screen forever because you don't know what to do. So, I would get something done and then they would come out and say, oh, this is not right. You got to go through this person. And you go to that person, they send you back to the other person. So that was one thing that really hindered us. On top of that, I had a seizure in 2018 and they found a tumor in my brain that had to be removed. And, thank God they found it. Mm-hmm. It was benign, but, it was pressing on my nerve. And it was actually on my anniversary that I had the seizure. We were on our way to my son's summer camp celebration, and I passed out, had a seizure, Yeah, ended up in the hospital for my anniversary, and that's where we celebrated. And yeah, they were able to remove it, but that, you would think that would be a setback. And yeah, I think I took maybe a month kind of off. I couldn't drive for 3 months, but
You had brain surgery. You took a month off. You couldn't drive for 3 months, and you still opened.
still opened and was still working on it. Like, I don't remember not working on it. That's the thing. Because it was just going to happen, you know? And again, God was leading me. God was doing it. It wasn't like I was like being disobedient or like not listening to my doctors. I was listening to everybody. I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I was also working on the coffee shop, making sure that things got done. And yeah, it was just one of those things of like, I had already made up my mind what I was going to do. And so that big thing that happened still didn't stop the process. And again, that goes back to believing in God and believing in what his word says. And I was healed. So I had to walk in my healing and literally walk with the walker too.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to walk with the walker. But I had to walk in that and continue on and move forward. And with that, you know, I'm very appreciative of that because my kids were able to see me go through that and see that I was able to continue on, and I'm here now. So, you know, even in the difficult times, you know, I was still blessed by God. My kids were blessed. My husband was blessed. And Black Coffee still made it.
This episode is sponsored by the Brave Gathering 2022 Revival. Join us at the historic Ridgely Theater coming up October 21st and 22nd. 2 days of live music, real connections, and relatable stories. Get your tickets today at braveone.net/gather. Can't wait to see you there.
What a courageous story. And I love, you said your kids watched you. They can't give you any excuse for not getting homework done or something,
Exactly.
can they? You're like, are you kidding me?
No excuses.
No excuses. Oh my gosh. What a warrior that you would walk through all that and get that done. And it's not just the shop. I was in Central Market a few weeks ago and I'm walking by and I'm like, I see Black Coffee on the shelf in Central Market. I was just cheering you on in the store. So excited for you.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that process. So
you know,
you're not just a coffee shop. You do your own coffee.
We do beans. Yes, we do. Whole beans. They actually reached out to me because I'm such a hard worker when it comes to social media. I'm reaching out to people. I'm collaborating with people, which is big. Collaboration is important. And they actually reached out to me. They were like, we have some space for coffee and we would love to try you out. I was like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, yeah, I can get it done. And they gave me enough time to fill those orders. And they were like, we will try you out in a certain amount of stores. I knew that the stores in DFW would be the best, but I was like, sure, get me out there. And took me about a month, but I was able to get in there February of this year. And I was able to travel to a couple stores. They called me out to do some demos. I went to Austin, I went to Houston, and I was able to demo the coffee. So it gave me a lot of exposure. And I love them because they're big, but they're small, you know, and they love small businesses and they champion entrepreneurs. And so it's really cool because it connects me with other entrepreneurs that might be doing something else, salsa, chips, tortillas. So like I'm doing a demo with my coffee and there's a father and son that are demoing their salsa right next to me. And it was just amazing to see that. And the fact that they reached out to me, I was like, you know, I'm just a little old coffee shop in Fort Worth. I don't know. And
that doesn't
no.
happen. Do you know how many entrepreneurs are out there taking their stuff to Central Market, trying to get in, and they called you?
I know. It's a blessing again. And yeah, so, you know, it's still a work in progress because marketing is a beast and I'm still trying to figure all of that out. But, you know, we're hoping that we can keep it going. And if not, we're just going to keep moving on, you know, but we're there. So please go to Central Market. Check us out.
Yeah, I love it. I was so excited for you. So you're intentionally in this community, and I'm just wondering, what changes have you seen in the community? I know you and your husband have both been serving and you're planted there. Have you seen over the years some changes?
Definitely. Rosedale has changed quite a bit. They've redone the street. We actually have bikes, city bikes that people can rent and ride down the street. That was not heard of on the east side of town. So that was big to see them put that there. And then Texas Wesleyan, they're expanding. They're great partners because they believe in the community. And so, they're always coming to Black Coffee. We get a lot of staff. We're getting way more students now, which I love because I have a heart for kids too. So I love to see them coming in, and with them expanding, with us deciding to be in that community, the city is taking note. They've been able to secure some money from, different places to work on Vaughn, which is the street that I'm on. So they're going to completely redo that area. And it's just going to bring more people. It's just going to show the community like, hey, there's space for you and opportunity. And again, because we're about community, we've been able to meet so many people in the community that are wanting to invest, that are buying properties. And we're just able to be a part of the conversation. And, that's just been really, really important. But the city is taking note, which is great. That's what we want, because we want them to invest in the community. Those people pay their taxes. We want to see some of that money come back. And so, yeah, we're just trying to be at the table, every table, so we can talk about the East Side.
That's so good. You're leaving a legacy in so many ways, and I love that. So what's next for you in Black Coffee?
What's next? More expansion on the East Side. Yep, that's what we're working on right now. Going further towards 820 to, again, just shine light on the East Side to encourage other entrepreneurs to open their businesses. I'm working with a few other businesses, a gym, a young lady that has her own smoothie business. And we're just trying to get out there and build up the East Side. That's what we want. 820, that's a very busy highway. There's nothing there on the East Side. So we want to bring some things there, put some visibility right there where the highway is. And there are people that grew up on the East Side that have been blessed to make millions, and they are invested, and they're going to build that up. So, yeah, look for more expansion. You will see another Black Coffee. You will see some more roasting, and that's what we're working on.
So are we getting a scoop? Is the next location in the works?
Yeah, it is. Yep. It's a scoop because I haven't talked to anybody about it. So. Yeah.
Well, you heard it first here. I love it. Well, I have a question that I'm asking all of my guests.
Okay.
You can answer it any way you want. It can be serious. It can be funny. Cool. But what is the bravest thing that you have ever done?
Oh, the bravest thing. I'll say I ziplined in the Dominican.
Nice.
I don't do those things. And it was one where, like, once you got past number 5, it was like 12 of them. Once you get past 5, you can't go back.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I forced myself to go to 5 and made it all the way. And that's big for me because I don't step out of my comfort zone. So that's probably like the bravest thing, I think.
That is brave. That is something that I desire to do, and I have not done.
It is so scary. I'm not going to lie.
It sounds so scary.
But I'm happy I didn't. But eventually, I actually want to skydive.
No.
I do. I want to skydive, so that'll be next, hopefully.
So what's stopping you from doing it so far?
I'm just not there yet. I have to talk myself through it.
You've got, okay.
and I always, like, it takes me forever to make a decision. I'm not going to lie. So it's something I want to do. And we'll figure out when that time comes, You
definitely seem like someone, though, that once you make that decision, done. Like
that's true.
All in.
Yeah. So it's going to get done. Hopefully I can convince my husband to do it too. That'll help. But we'll see. He may not want to.
I want to see video when this happens.
Oh, yeah. You will. You definitely will. I have to put that out.
Yeah. But Also, going on a zip line was your bravest thing when you opened a business during a pandemic and after brain surgery.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just talk
All
about the courage that took. So
yeah.
I think you are someone that does step out of their comfort zone and does amazing, courageous things. So I'm so grateful that you shared your story today.
Thank you. And I appreciate you so much. Like you allowing people to tell their story, and you pulling out the important pieces. You know, sometimes we forget, you know, all the things that we've gone through, and, you know, time passes and you just don't even think about it. So you being able to pull that out and us being able to hear like all the amazing things that people have done, it's just great.
Oh, thank you. That means the world to me. And I'm just so grateful for you. And I'm definitely cheering you on. And
Thank you.
I will continue to be a customer for sure.
Yay. I appreciate it.
And support you and your community any way we can. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining me for today's conversation. If this resonated with you, please save this podcast to your playlist and share it with your friends. If there's a conversation that you want to hear, make sure and reach out at brave1.net and send a topic request. Until our next episode, remember to put your brave on.